Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Horoscope TV. If you are a Sagittarius, or, if you have a chaotic, lovable, arrow-slinging Sagittarius in your life that you are desperately trying to understand right now, you have absolutely come to the right place today.
You really have.
Yeah, because we are looking ahead to the forecast for Sagittarius, and I've been staring at the astrological data all morning, and I just have to say, calling it a massive shift feels like a complete understatement.
Oh, it's totally an understatement.
Right. This isn't just a new chapter for you guys. It feels like a whole new book.
It really does. And it's so great to be back here analyzing this with you. When we usually look at astrological data,
Mm-hmm.
we often see what I like to call maintenance months.
Maintenance months, yeah.
Yeah.
Like just cruising along,
Exactly. The planets are just humming along, doing their usual thing, keeping the status quo.
which is fine, but boring.
Right. But March for Sagittarius is definitively not that.
Mm.
The planetary geometry here is just fascinating because it's this incredibly high contrast month.
High contrast.
Yeah, it combines this intense, fiery sort of I can do anything optimism with some very heavy, serious grounding demands later on.
Yeah, looking at the data, it feels like the universe is having a bit of a split personality moment for you.
Totally.
It's saying, okay, Sagittarius, go have the absolute time of your life, party until dawn, fall in epic love, but also,
I was also please pay your taxes.
yes, please, for the love of everything holy, act like an adult and file your paperwork.
That is a scarily accurate summary of the transits we are seeing. It's essentially a cosmic tug of war.
A tug of war between what exactly?
Well, on one side, you have that classic Sagittarius inner child, which, let's be honest, is the dominant personality trait for most archers out there.
Very true.
And then on the other side, you have this sudden need for what we might call heavy-hitting adulting, particularly as we get toward the end of the month.
So our mission today is to thoroughly analyze these movements. We are going to look at the transits, the eclipses, and yes, there is an eclipse, and the retrogrades.
A big one.
We want to help you navigate the changes coming in your love life, your career, and your wallet without you getting, energetic whiplash.
Whiplash is the perfect word for it.
So let's unpack this. Where do we even start with a month that has this much pivoting going on?
We absolutely have to start with the ruling planet.
Okay, Jupiter.
Right, Jupiter. You cannot understand a Sagittarius forecast without looking at Jupiter. Jupiter is essentially the landlord of your life.
The landlord, I love that.
And here's the major headline data point for you. Jupiter goes direct on March 11th.
Oh, thank goodness.
I know, right?
I feel like we really need to pause here because people who don't follow astrology super closely might not get why this is such a massive deal.
Sir.
I mean, planets appear to go backwards and forwards in the sky all the time. Why is this specific movement the dam breaking for our listeners?
That is a great question. So think of it this way. Jupiter governs expansion, luck, travel, and higher philosophy.
All the fun Sagittarius stuff?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is literally the gas pedal for your sign. Now, when Jupiter is retrograde, which it has been leading up to this point, it's like trying to drive a sports car with the parking brake securely on.
Oh, that sounds incredibly frustrating.
It is. The engine is revving, the desire to move forward is completely there, but the external manifestation is just sluggish.
So it feels like walking through mud.
Exactly that. Walking through mud, your arrows just aren't flying straight.
You have these huge ideas, right?
Huge ideas, but the
It's-
logistics completely fall apart. The external expression of your energy is basically turned inward.
But then on March 11,
On March 11th, Jupiter stations direct. And stationing is the key word to focus on here.
explain that for us. What does stationing actually look like in the data?
Well, from our perspective here on Earth, before a planet appears to change direction, it seems to just stand completely still in the sky. It stations.
Okay.
This creates a massive concentration of energy. It is exactly like a compressed spring.
Building up tension.
Yes, so leading up to the 11th, the pressure is building. And then when it finally clicks and moves forward,
So dam breaks.
the dam breaks entirely. The parking brake releases. This is the most critical event of the month for you.
Wow.
It is a clearing away of all those recent delays you've been dealing with. You are going to feel a massive surge of fresh hope.
And looking at the data, it specifically mentions that your trademark Sagittarius optimism returns.
Yes, stronger than ever. It's that visceral feeling of waking up and suddenly knowing exactly what to do.
I absolutely love that. It's like the light suddenly turned back on in the house after a blackout.
Perfectly said.
And it seems like the universe is actually queuing up the supporting acts right before that happened.
Oh, it definitely is.
Because looking at the chart, on March 9th, which is just 2 days before this big Jupiter shift, the moon enters Sagittarius.
Right. And this is highly significant timing. In astrology, the moon rules our emotional landscape, our subconscious, and our intuitive self.
The internal stuff.
The internal stuff. When the moon is in your own sign, you feel most like yourself. Your internal emotional state aligns perfectly with your external personality.
So it serves as a huge confidence boost.
It's a coherence boost. You aren't fighting yourself anymore.
That sounds like a relief.
So imagine this timeline for a second. On March 9, the moon enters your sign, meaning you feel emotionally ready and completely aligned. You finally feel like you.
Right.
And then, literally 48 hours later, your ruling planet releases the parking brake.
Oh, wow. So you're feeling connected to your emotions, and then you're immediately given the vehicle to actually move them forward.
Exactly. It is a brilliant setup for sharing that bright spirit with the world. You're feeling it internally, and then all the external roadblocks just vanish.
And then just to add more fuel to the fire, literally, the sun moves into Aries on March 20th.
Yes, the spring equinox. We shift from the watery depths of Pisces season straight into Aries season.
Which is huge.
Now, for you listening, why does this matter? Because Sagittarius is a fire sign. Aries is a fire sign.
They speak the same language.
They do. When the sun is in a fellow fire sign, it creates what we call a trine aspect by sign. It's a highly harmonious flow of energy.
So it's basically like being in your absolute element.
It is. It actively lights up the solar house associated with joy, creativity, romance, and self-expression.
The fun sector.
It is the fun sector of your chart.
This sounds like playtime. I mean, literally playtime.
It is playtime. The forecast describes this as a period where your motivation to play and create is going to be at an all-time high.
Love that.
It's really about letting that inner child run totally free. If you have been wanting to paint or start a new sport or honestly just go out and be loud, this is the solar sport for it.
I can totally see that. It's the end of winter, the sun is in fiery Aries, your ruler Jupiter is finally direct.
It's a recipe for magnetism.
Yeah, the data explicitly mentions that people are going to be magnetically drawn to your enthusiasm during this specific time.
That is the charisma factor at work. When a Sagittarius is functioning on this high frequency, which this Aries sun facilitates beautifully, they're truly irresistible.
It's like unstoppable.
I have this infectious enthusiasm.
Yeah.
But, and here's where we have to put our responsible astrologer hats on, the month does not end on a chaotic party note.
Right. Here's where it gets really interesting and honestly maybe a little sobering for some people.
I'm fully sober.
We have a major end-of-month reality check coming up.
We do. And it is heavy. On March 25, the sun creates a conjunction with Saturn. And then just days later, on March 28, Saturn makes a sextile to Pluto.
Okay, let's break down the characters in this cosmic play. Saturn is basically the dad of the zodiac, right? The strict disciplinarian.
He is the ultimate taskmaster.
Yeah.
He is the lord of time and karma.
So no messing around.
None. Saturn constantly asks, is this sustainable? Is this real? Have you actually done the work?
Right.
So when the sun, which represents your core identity and your ego meets Saturn, it forces responsibility.
It's like the teacher walking into the classroom while everyone is throwing paper airplanes.
Everyone sits down immediately.
Everyone just sits right down and gets quiet.
Exactly. Now, it's not necessarily a negative thing, but it is extremely grounding.
Yeah.
It absolutely demands maturity.
Right.
Because after all that Aries fire and play earlier in the month, Saturn steps in on the 25th and basically says, okay, fun is good, but what are you actually building here? Show me the structure.
So it's a very sharp shift from let's go on a wild adventure to let's commit to a serious new path.
Precisely. And that connection to Pluto on the 28th is vital to understand.
Pluto is intense.
Very. Pluto is about transformation, underlying power, and the deep underground. A sextile is a highly supportive aspect in astrology.
So they are working together.
Yes, Saturn gives you the rigorous structure, and Pluto gives you the deep strength and laser focus to build a permanent foundation.
Wow.
It's really about taking all that raw, creative energy from earlier in the month and solidifying it into something profoundly real.
That makes total sense. You can't just have the raw spark. You need the heavy stone fireplace to actually hold it safely.
Right.
Otherwise, you just burn the whole house down.
Beautifully put. That is exactly the energy signature of late March.
Okay, let's pivot a bit to something that stresses pretty much everyone out, but is seemingly huge this month.
Let me guess. Career.
Yes, career and the professional path. The data highlights a specific event that sounds, well, highly alarming, to be honest.
This is definitely where the drama might be centered for many of you listening.
Mhm.
We have a lunar eclipse in Virgo right at the start on March 3.
Eclipses are notoriously wild cards in astrology, but why Virgo? And why does a Virgo eclipse matter so much to a Sagittarius career?
It's all about chart placement.
I feel like we really need to explain the mechanics of that so it makes sense.
We do. This is a tiny bit technical,
Mhm.
but stay with me. If you are a Sagittarius or if you have Sagittarius rising, Virgo usually rules your 10th house.
And the 10th house is right at the very top of the chart.
Yes, exactly. The 10th house represents career, reputation, and your public standing.
Okay, so Virgo is effectively the boss of the Sagittarius career sector.
Correct. And just think about the fundamental difference between those two signs for a second.
Yeah, it's so different.
Sagittarius is the visionary. Big picture, broad strokes. Let's change the entire world right now.
And Virgo.
Virgo is the editor. Granular details, complex spreadsheets, critique, absolute precision.
They are totally the odd couple of the zodiac.
They really are.
Yeah.
So when you have a lunar eclipse, which is a powerful moment of culmination and emotional release, hitting that exact Virgo sector, it creates a massive shakeup.
A shakeup in how you work.
Yes, it reveals precisely where the details are failing the grand vision.
So early March, right out of the gate, we are looking at a potential crisis at work.
Crisis might be a slightly strong word, but it is definitively a major pivot.
Okay.
The data strongly suggests this could bring a sudden change in your professional path or even the abrupt end of a very long project.
That honestly sounds really scary, but the analysis actually says it's a clearing mechanism.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
The phrasing in the data here is incredibly important. It says you might realize that your current job simply no longer matches your big dreams.
Oh, that's deep.
If a Sagittarius is stuck working in a tiny box, doing mind-numbing data entry, being micromanaged, unable to clearly see the horizon, they literally wither away.
They lose their fire.
Exactly. This eclipse might be the exact moment that tiny box finally breaks open.
So if you get fired or a massive project gets canceled on March 3, don't panic.
Absolutely, do not panic. It is cosmic clearing.
The universe is sweeping.
Yes, it's the universe sweeping out all the accumulated dust so you can actually breathe again. Eclipses very often remove things that were actively preventing our growth, even if we completely didn't realize it at the time.
But the timing of this is pretty tricky, right? Because while the huge shakeup happens early in the month, the actual clarity about what it means doesn't come immediately.
Right, and that is where the intense frustration lies. We have Mercury going direct on March 20.
Oh, Mercury retrograde strikes again?
Yes, that means for the first two-thirds of the whole month, Mercury, the planet of communication, commerce, and logistics, is retrograde, or in its messy shadow phase.
So you have this massive career explosion on the 3rd, but you literally can't really talk about it or fix it yet.
Exactly. It is a dense period of confusion. You're thinking, what does this actually mean? What did my boss even mean by that weird email?
It's all just foggy.
Very foggy. But once Mercury stations direct on the 20th, the fog suddenly lifts. Communication becomes crystal clear again.
No more super confusing emails. No more, oh, I thought you meant plan X, but I actually executed plan Y.
Exactly. The highly actionable advice here is that post-March 20 is the ultimate green light for important presentations.
Good to know.
If you have a brilliant new vision, or if that eclipse gave you a radical new idea, you need to wait until the 20th to actually pitch it.
Hold your fire until then.
Yes, because before then, you are essentially speaking a completely different language than your audience. After the 20th, your bosses and coworkers will finally understand exactly what you're trying to say.
I really like that strategy. Wait for the clear signal. But then we have that heavy Sun-Saturn conjunction again on March 25.
We do.
How does that play into work specifically? We called it the proving ground earlier.
Yes, the proving ground is the perfect term. So look at the timeline. You've had the dramatic shakeup, you've finally gained the clarity, and now you face the final test.
A test from Saturn.
Yes. The impact on work here is taking on heavy, serious responsibility. You are very likely going to be tested by authority figures.
So the boss is watching your every move.
The boss is watching, or the volatile market is watching, or your most important clients are watching.
And they want results.
Exactly. Saturn does not want to hear your flashy sales pitch. Saturn wants to see your tangible results.
But there's a reward, right?
A huge reward. The reward for passing this test by, clearly showing you are highly capable, incredibly serious, and not just all big talk, is massive respect.
That's huge for career growth.
It is. This is exactly where you earn your permanent stripes for long-term success.
So just to brilliantly summarize the career arc for you guys, Expect a major shakeup early on, thanks to that eclipse. Wait patiently for clarity around the 20th, thanks to Mercury. And then just buckle down and work incredibly hard at the end of the month to prove your worth, thanks to Saturn.
That is the absolute perfect strategy. If you closely follow that natural rhythm, you will definitely come out on top.
All right, let's talk about money, the financial forecast. Are we buying luxury yachts or are we eating instant noodles in March?
Well, it is actually a bit of both, chronologically speaking.
Oh boy.
It starts with a very tight squeeze
Of course it does. Why can't we just start with the luxury yacht?
because Saturn says an absolute no to that. On March 8, Venus precisely meets Saturn in the sky.
And Venus is money.
Yes, Venus rules your money, your values, and your desire for luxury. Saturn, as we discussed, is restriction, rules, and discipline.
So the universe is essentially putting a heavy padlock on your wallet.
It really is. You might be walking past a fancy shop window, see something incredibly beautiful, and really, really want to buy it.
The classic impulse buy.
Exactly. But the overwhelming vibe of this particular transit is strict discipline. The analysis strongly suggests that actively avoiding unnecessary expenses right here is what protects your bank account for later.
It's a classic marshmallow test. Do not eat the financial marshmallow on March 8th.
Exactly, because you absolutely need to do a full audit first. On March 12th, the moon enters Capricorn.
Capricorn. They are essentially the stern accountant of the zodiac.
Correct. Capricorn is actually ruled by Saturn, so it carries that very same serious, pragmatic energy.
Makes sense.
When the moon is traversing there, your emotional focus completely shifts to security, status, and practical resources. You just feel emotionally safer when you know exactly where your money is.
So the internal motivation to sit down and review the budget is naturally high.
Extremely high. The expert advice derived from this data is that March 12 is definitively the best day to sit down with a complex spreadsheet.
Even for a Sagittarius.
Even for them, you need to look at the real hard numbers. And I know Sagittarius generally hates tedious details, but on this specific day, it will actually feel deeply empowering, not boring at all.
Ugh, spreadsheets. But okay, if we do the strict audit on the 12th and we successfully skip the impulse purchase on the 8th, please tell me there is a payout coming.
Oh, there is a massive payout, or at least the very strong potential for one.
Okay, let's hear it.
On March 22, Mars forms a beautiful trine to Jupiter.
Okay, let's break that down for the audience. Mars is pure action. Jupiter is your ruler, the planet of extreme luck.
And a trine is a highly harmonious, easy flow of energy between them.
So they are high-fiving.
They are high-fiving. This is a massive energetic swing from the strict restriction we saw earlier in the month. It creates a powerful windfall energy.
I love the sound of windfall energy.
Mars provides the intense drive and courage, and Jupiter generously provides the opportunity and luck.
Okay, now we're really talking.
The forecast explicitly mentions excellent news for the wallet during this window. A surprise financial bonus, a highly profitable side job, or, and this is a key point, a return on a risk.
Yeah, interesting. It says in the data here, this is the optimal time to take a small financial risk.
Yes, because your natural intuition is razor sharp right now, and the planetary support is fully there backing you up.
So courage actually pays off here.
Courage pays off handsomely. So you restricted yourself earlier, you carefully planned in the middle of the month, and now you boldly execute and reap the rewards on the 22nd.
I honestly love a good financial arc like that. Going from strict discipline to sudden luck, it just feels earned that way.
It is entirely earned.
Yeah.
That is the fundamental Saturn lesson. You do the work, you get the reward.
Okay, let's move to matters of the heart. Love and romance patterns. Looking at this data, it looks pretty spicy.
It is intensely spicy. This is fundamentally a month of fire for love.
That sounds extremely promising for a fire sign.
It kicks off on March 6th, when Venus officially enters Aries. Now again, Aries is a fellow fire sign to Sagittarius.
Right.
When Venus, the planet of love and attraction, moves into a fiery sign like Aries, she basically takes off the soft, slowy dress and puts on a sharp leather jacket.
So it's very bold energy, the huntress.
Very bold, very direct.
Yeah.
If you are currently single, the data clearly suggests you will feel brave enough to just walk up and approach someone special.
No playing games.
No more waiting around hoping they notice you. No more dropping subtle hints. You literally just walk right up and say hi.
I love that confidence. And what if you are already partnered?
Then it's all about spontaneous dates.
Yeah.
Really bringing the spark back into the dynamic.
Because Aries hates routine.
Exactly. Aries energy does not tolerate boredom well at all. It desperately wants adventure. It wants to go axe throwing on a Tuesday or try skydiving, not just do the standard dinner in a movie.
But looking closely at the chart, there is a trap here. a temptation trap. And the language used in the data is quite strong about this.
There is almost always a caveat with this much fire. On March 18th, Venus squares Jupiter.
Okay, we talked earlier about squares representing tension. I want to pause on this for a second because usually Jupiter's the good guy, the lucky planet. Why is he suddenly causing trouble in the love life?
It is a classic astrological case of having way too much of a good thing.
Really?
Yes.
Ugh.
A square creates friction and action. When you square Venus, which represents love and pleasure, with Jupiter, which represents massive expansion and excess, you don't get conflict in the traditional sense of a bitter fight.
What do you get then?
You get gluttony. You get emotional inflation.
So it's not aggressively fighting with your partner. It's more like ordering the absolute most expensive wine on the menu just to show off.
It's ordering the $1,000 wine and then enthusiastically promising to take them to a villa in Italy next month when you haven't even paid your current rent yet.
Oh, no.
It is the absolute inflation of emotion. You genuinely feel, in that exact moment, like you can effortlessly deliver the moon to them. You are completely high on the romance.
That is so dangerous. Because Sagittarius is already naturally prone to heavy exaggeration anyway.
It is literally their kryptonite. They absolutely love crafting the grand story.
He gets swept up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This transit is basically handing a live microphone to a Sagittarius who has had way too much sugar and saying, please tell us your most lavish 5-year plan.
So the practical advice here isn't necessarily don't have fun. It's more like don't sign binding contracts or make dramatic blood oaths on the 18th.
Exactly that. Enjoy the amazing date, buy the extravagant flowers, totally feel the huge feelings because they're genuine in the moment, but forcefully keep your feet planted on solid ground.
Just to protect yourself.
Yes, to completely avoid those silly, painful misunderstandings later when you have to admit you can't actually move to Italy on a whim.
It makes total sense. And then, interestingly enough, the month ends with a major shift into Taurus energy.
Yes. Venus officially enters Taurus on March 30. This is the grand stabilization.
Thank goodness.
We finally move away from the wildfire of Aries and settle into the solid earth of Taurus. Venus actually rules Taurus, so she is extremely happy and comfortable here.
So we basically go from let's immediately move to Paris to let me cook you a nice dinner and fold your laundry.
Basically, yes. It's expressing deep affection through highly practical, helpful actions, actively building solid trust and daily comfort.
That's nice.
It's a very sweet, grounding end to a wildly fiery month. It essentially says, okay, the crazy chase was super fun, but now let's just enjoy being really comfortable together on the couch.
I really like that balance. Okay, let's talk about the people around you. Social dynamics. Who should a Sagittarius actively hang out with in March 2026, and who should they probably avoid?
The absolute best match this month is unequivocally Aquarius.
The water bearer. Okay, why is that?
Because the dynamic is described as brilliant and electric in this specific data context. Remember, Aquarius is an air sign. And what exactly does air do to fire?
It makes it grow. It completely feeds it.
Exactly. Air feeds fire. Look at the specific transits. On March 9, when the moon is in Sagittarius, you have that beautiful shared enthusiasm.
Building each other up.
But the real magic happens on March 18th. The sun makes a powerful connection with Uranus, which is the modern ruler of Aquarius.
And Uranus is the planet of what, exactly?
Sudden surprise.
Yeah.
Radical disruption. Pure innovation.
So that brings unexpected, crazy fun.
Sudden, brilliant flashes of genius. It's that specific friend you call and say, hey, let's go on a random road trip right now. And they reply, I'm literally already in the car waiting for you.
Aha.
Aquarius perfectly matches the deep Sagittarius need for absolute freedom.
That is honestly the dream energy for any Sagittarius.
It is. And with Mercury finally direct on the 20th, the deep conversations between a Sagittarius and an Aquarius will just flow effortlessly.
Talking about what?
Talking about travel, complex philosophy, the secrets of the universe.
Big stuff.
And then on March 22, Mars beautifully supports Jupiter, giving both of you the raw courage to actually take action on those wild shared dreams. It's a very highly independent, incredibly exciting dynamic.
No clinginess.
Zero. No one is awkwardly clinging to anyone.
Okay, so definitively find your Aquarius friends this month. Now, who is the quote-unquote worst match?
Unfortunately, it's Pisces.
Oh, sorry to all the Pisces listeners out there. Why the intense clash right now? Is it just the classic water completely putting out the fire dynamic?
It definitely comes down to fundamental elemental incompatibility this month, but it's also tied to very specific transits.
Okay.
The underlying reasoning that Pisces energy is just too needy and confusing for the incredibly direct Sagittarius right now.
Yeah, Sagittarius is very much what you see is what you get. No hidden agenda.
Exactly. And Pisces is more like what you see is a vague reflection in a misty pond.
Right.
On March 2, Mars moves directly into Pisces. This creates a very passive, indirect type of energy. Sagittarius desperately wants speed and action. Pisces just wants to emotionally float.
I can definitely see that being highly frustrating. It's a constant battle of let's go right now versus let's just sit here and dream.
Exactly. Then on March 19th, there is a intense new moon in Pisces. The Sagittarius listener might actually feel like they're emotionally drowning in Pisces' heavy feelings.
Just too much depth.
It's way too much deep emotion without nearly enough tangible action to balance it out.
And what about the fog we mentioned?
Yes. The Sun joins Neptune on March 22. Now, Neptune is the planetary ruler of Pisces.
And Neptune is illusion.
This is pure, blinding fog. Pisces might actively avoid giving any straight answers under this transit. Now, Sagittarius values brutal truth above pretty much all else.
Oh yeah, they hate dodging.
So if they ask a very direct question and get a vague, highly poetic non-answer, it will absolutely drive them crazy.
And then there is that Mars square Lilith transit on March 14.
Yes, which specifically causes deeply hidden resentments to finally bubble up to the surface. It is honestly just a perfect recipe for a massive misunderstanding.
What's the play?
The advice in the data is very plain. It is much better to just politely go your separate ways this month. Do not try to force it.
Noted. Avoid the unnecessary drama at all costs.
Okay, let's check in on the physical body, health and wellness for March.
We actually have a noticeable energy dip right at the start of the month.
Which is kind of weird for a month with so much fiery energy later on.
It is a bit counterintuitive, but remember, Mars enters Pisces on March 2.
Right, the water sign.
For a Sagittarius chart, this specific transit happens right at the very bottom of the chart in the 4th house.
And the 4th house is home and family, right?
Exactly.
So Mars, the aggressive planet of physical energy, is basically hiding down in the basement.
That is a brilliant way to visually picture it. It heavily affects the home life and the deep internal self.
Yeah.
The physical impact of this is feeling significantly more tired than usual.
Heavy limbs.
It's literally like trying to run a sprint in a swimming pool.
So just strongly wanting to stay home. A very strong preference for absolute privacy. Deep sleep is truly the best medicine here. You simply cannot burn the candle at both ends in early March.
You have to conserve.
If you foolishly fight this and try to be hyperactive on March 2nd, you will just completely burn out before the good stuff happens.
But then we do get some much-needed grounding later on in the month.
We do. The moon enters Taurus on March 24.
Back to the earth energy.
Yes, Taurus rules the neck, the throat, and general physical tactile comfort. This represents deep emotional grounding.
What's the recommended action?
The strong suggestion here is doing some gardening or spending quiet time out in nature. It's really about actively soothing the busy mind by physically connecting with the earth.
And then there's the healing finish we talked about.
Yes, Venus enters Taurus on March 30. This is exceptionally gentle, restorative energy.
Sounds amazing.
It's all about massage, taking incredibly long baths, eating deeply nourishing foods. It is about intentionally ending the chaotic month with a healthy, peaceful glow.
So it's a very clear physical journey.
It is. Think of the overall health arc. You intentionally rest early on, you run completely wild in the middle with all that intense Aries energy, and then you heavily pamper yourself at the very end.
Honestly, that sounds like a perfectly balanced plan. Okay, before we completely wrap up, we have the cheat sheet.
The best part.
This is specifically for those of you who want the quick, actionable luck hacks. I always love these.
They are always highly useful to keep in mind.
So, color magic. The data says the lucky color for March is purple. Specifically, hex code hashtag 800080.
That is a very specific shade. It's the traditional color of royalty and deep wisdom.
And it connects to Jupiter, right?
Yes. Historically, it is the absolute color of Jupiter, your ruling planet.
I am thinking maybe some cool purple accessories. Or, hey, maybe a sleek purple notebook specifically for doing that serious financial audit on the 12th.
That would actually align perfectly. You are subconsciously signaling both massive wealth and grounded wisdom to yourself while you do the math.
I love that. Okay, what about lucky numbers?
We definitely have a clear mathematical pattern here in the data. The numbers are 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, and 54.
Wait, those are all exact multiples of 9.
They are indeed. In numerology, 9 is the ultimate number of completion, profound wisdom, and the true humanitarian.
Which is very Sagittarian.
It fits the fundamental Sagittarius vibe flawlessly.
And finally, let's recap the specific dates to boldly circle on the calendar.
Okay, March 9 is for a massive boost in confidence as the moon enters your sign.
Check.
March 18 is strictly for unexpected fun, thanks to that thrilling Sun and Uranus connection.
Got it.
And March 20 is the ultimate day for communication clarity and joy, with the Sun moving into Aries and Mercury finally going direct.
March 20 really does seem like the golden pivotal day of the whole month.
It truly is. It
Yeah.
is the major turning point of the entire season. It is effectively the astrological new year.
So what does this all ultimately mean for our listeners? Let's analyze the full arc of the data.
Let's do it.
We clearly start the month feeling a little physically tired, maybe feeling a bit restricted financially, and potentially dealing with a stressful career shakeup.
Yes, the heavy start.
But then Jupiter finally goes direct, the glorious Sun enters Aries, and we just get this massive, unstoppable burst of optimistic fire and wild love right in the middle of the month.
It's a huge peak, but we absolutely cannot forget the ending.
Right, Saturn.
The month conclusively ends with disciplined, hard-won success and deep physical healing.
It's a real journey.
It is a profound journey from whole grounded stop.
It is one heck of a ride.
It really is. And looking at this data raises one incredibly important question for you, the listener.
Oh, what is it?
When that intense moment of grand gesture temptation inevitably hits you on March 18, when Venus aggressively squares Jupiter and you desperately want to promise someone the entire world, what will you do?
That is the big test.
Will you impulsively choose the fleeting, expensive thrill, or will you consciously remember the heavy Saturn energy coming just a week later and actively choose to build the stable foundation instead?
Ooh, that is exactly the question you have to sit with. Do you buy the lavish plane ticket on a whim, or do you responsibly put that exact same money right into your savings account?
That specific choice will completely define how your month ultimately resolves. And honestly, for a fiery Sagittarius, that specific choice is always the hardest one to possibly make.
Well, thank you so much for breaking all of this highly complex data down with me today. This has been a truly fascinating look at what is coming for March 2026.
It was entirely my pleasure. It is clearly going to be an incredibly exciting and pivotal month for all the archers out there listening.
Absolutely, it will be. And a huge thank you to everyone for listening to this episode on Horoscope TV today. If you enjoyed this detailed analysis and want to be fully ready for what the planets bring in April, please make sure to hit that subscribe button right now so you get notified immediately when the next episode is available.
Stay grounded and see you in the stars.
Bye, everyone.